Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. As I review what writing has been most effective in improving the lives of my clients, my friends, and me, I've become enamored of the short form's power. And perhaps the ultimate in wisdom's concision is the quotation. So, I have reviewed literally thousands of quotations from respected luminaries to identify not obvious but potent quotes that are relevant to you. And my focus here in Psychology Today and here is just about how to do life. Anyway, here are 17 of those quotes of particular value, plus my yes buts and yes ands, mainly yes ands. Start with quotes about work. Start with Eleanor Roosevelt. She said, "Work is almost the best way to pull oneself out of the depths. It is not more vacation we need, it is more vocation." Well, one size doesn't fit all. For example, I've had clients who were in the depths who rose by working less. Their work life was unrewarding and difficult to improve, but their family and recreational life were rich. Such people aren't unwise to work less. The next quote comes from Barack Obama. "We need to internalize this idea of excellence. Not many folks spend a lot of time trying to be excellent." Well, again, sometimes striving for excellence is worth it, other times not. Sometimes good is good enough, and the perfect is the enemy of the good. To take a psychology example, let's say that the aforementioned person who was in the depths worked hard to improve and moderately succeeded, but despite additional effort has plateaued. It may be wise for him or her to forego excellence, at least for now, and redirect efforts to where they might benefit her, those she cares about, or society, or at least better benefit her, those she cares about, or society. The next quote comes from Donald Trump. "Get into action and solve the problems as they arise." Yeah, many people tend to overthink, believing that additional illumination will be worth it. More often, it's wise to take a low-risk action, and if needed, revise based on the feedback that the experience provided. It's far easier to revise your way to excellence than to concoct it out of thin air. The next quote comes from Martin Luther King Jr. "Even if it falls to your lot to be a street sweeper, go on out and sweep streets like Michelangelo painted pictures, so all will say, 'Here lived a great street sweeper.'" I agree, although the words "falls to your lot" feels too passive. If indeed you feel okay about being literally or metaphorically a street sweeper, fine. But I would encourage people to realize that they usually have sufficient agency to pursue something else. Now let's turn to quotes about emotion. Eleanor Roosevelt said, "It is better to light a candle than curse the darkness." Yeah, if possible, don't just complain. Propose or enact solutions. This quote from Ruth Bader Ginsburg. "Don't be distracted by emotions like anger, envy, or resentment. These just zap energy and waste time." That's true, but we're human. It's easier said than done for many people. By all accounts, Ginsburg had a calm temperament. Someone who by nature and early environment is more mercurial may find it difficult to avoid becoming emotional. For such people, best may be to forgive themselves for an initial reflexive emotional reaction and then develop this habit. Breathe, extract yourself from the emotion-causing situation, and ask yourself what the wise one within you would do. The next quote comes from the Buddha. "Good people keep on walking whatever happens." Again, easier said than done, but a worthy aspiration. It can be made easier by picturing a desirable goal and then taking a baby step toward it, and then another. Objects in motion tend to stay in motion. The next one comes from John Wooden, the legendary basketball coach. "I seldom was off my seat on the bench during the game." Yes, the most effective and respected people tend to be reflective rather than impulsive. Especially in positions of leadership, that's important. The people around you, not just teammates, but say your supervisees, or for that matter your children, will take their cues from your modeling. Another one from John Wooden. "Earn the right to be proud and confident." Yes, too often I've seen people's confidence far exceed their competence, what psychologists today call the Dunning-Kruger effect. Sometimes the louder they are, the more the overconfidence. Wise people know the limits of what they know, and even when they're sure of their rectitude, recognize that they'll be more persuasive if they display equanimity rather than fire and brimstone. Next quote comes from Socrates. The secret of happiness lies in developing the capacity to enjoy less, that is, fewer things. Yes, I've seen people surrender their happiness and ethics to the false idol of excess materialism. The next quotes regard thinking. This one from Bill Clinton. Our willingness to believe the worst about everyone outside our own bubble is growing, and our ability to solve problems and seize opportunities is shrinking. More than ever in my lifetime, I have seen visceral rejection of people who hold different views, even if held by intelligent, benevolent people. The next quote from Carl Sagan, the famous cosmologist, astronomer. The dumbing down of America is most evident in the slow decay of substantive content in the enormously influential media. That's true, although careful curation can yield substantive content, and that present multiple intelligent perspectives, although they are certainly not what he calls the enormously influential media. Some examples, the websites intelligencesquared.org, fairforall.org, and cspan.org. The next quote comes from the Buddha. Should you find a wise critic to point out your faults, follow him as you would a guide to hidden treasure. Yes, period. Next quote from Richard Dawkins. Do not indoctrinate your children. Teach them how to think for themselves, how to evaluate evidence, and how to disagree with you. That's so true, yet often so hard. We care so much about our children that we want to give them our very best. That can mean trying to inculcate our most deeply held beliefs. It's difficult but important to pull on ropes of restraint, to model and venerate full-dimension thinking over zealotry. And finally, let's turn to some quotes about relationships. Freud said, love and work, work and love. That's all there is. I would add creative expression. Many people, even if they have good love and work in their lives, find significant additional meaning in creating, writing, music, art, acting, or craft work, for example. I happen, for example, to know a few people who quilt or knit. They feel very rewarded, envisioning that they're creating family heirlooms. Two of them are members of groups where they do their craft work together, which creates additional good feelings and relationships. The next quote is from Albert Einstein. The best way to cheer yourself is to cheer somebody else up. Yes, my clients, my friends, and I have often found that to be true. Why? Not only does that distract you from your woes, but often the other person's problem is worse, so you feel grateful that you're better off. And the final quote is another one from Albert Einstein. I now live in that solitude that is painful in youth, but delicious in the years of maturity. Yes, people often feel pressure to be social and feel guilty if they would rather spend more time solo. As I mentioned at the outset, one size does not fit all. In any event, I do thank you for watching. I'm Marty Nemko. I welcome your thumbs up and accept your thumbs down. I always look forward to your comments and especially like it if you hit the share button below. Share on your social media so that my efforts can have broader impact. And I am flattered if you choose to subscribe to my channel. In any event, I do thank you for watching. I am Marty Nemko.